everyone, it's Katrina and welcome back to episode 8 of Everglades National Zoo. I decided to do an episode of the Everglades this week because I was kind of just in the mood to keep on going with this zoo, but next week will be Amani Zoo. And today we added some gray seals, and I wasn't originally going to do anything with this area. This is the area right behind the Bengal tigers, which we did last episode. But then I had the thought that I wanted to do like a little eating area with some shops, and I thought this was a nice, more open area above the water where I could have this, and then I could have the seals swimming around there. And I thought this area just fit better with that. And I did think about doing the orangutans at the beginning, but then this kind of just popped in my head, so I went with the seals instead. And this is not the best biome to have these seals in. There's too much foliage and it's probably too hot and too tropical because they do like some of that cooler temperatures and they live in more cooler areas. But I still wanted to have an animal that could swim around a lot. And I think an animal that would have been really cool to have here would be manatees if we had those in the game. Manatees are super cool, and I feel like, especially since they live in Florida, this would be a perfect zoo to have them in, and this would be a nice area. But unfortunately, we do not have manatees in the game. Maybe one day, hopefully, but we'll just have to wait and see if that ever happens. And if it does, we can switch the seals out for the manatees, and we just won't have like the land area. And I did not actually finish this entire area this episode. I was pretty busy this weekend, and I did get most of it done. There's only a couple things I didn't do, like this staff area I'm gonna have right behind this habitat. I didn't quite finish that because so the buildings are just all the in-game, how they come in-game, and I don't have any walls on them yet, but that I'll get to that. And then I wanted to add a sign coming into this area for the seals, and I didn't get to that either. But everything else I got to. For their shelter, I just copied over the shelter from the okapis because I thought that shelter fit pretty well over there, so I just did that, and they work for the seals too. Although I had to make the entrance to the shelter a little bigger because the seals' traversable area, they couldn't fit through it, though really they could have. You could obviously tell that if this was in real life, they could fit through that, but the game wasn't letting them fit through that, so I had to make it a little wider. And then they have this huge area to swim. It's a huge area. And they don't actually really use it all like I wish they would. They usually stay on the side where their little land area is, but they can go everywhere on both sides of these little shops. And then they have some little islands out of rocks that they can climb on if they want to, though they haven't done that yet, unfortunately. And when I was building this, I built it with the intention that they would be able to swim under this little deck area, under the path. But they can't do that either, though it looks like they should be. Like, realistically, they should be, but they don't. And I'm not completely sure why, because I thought the path would be high enough, but I guess it's not, even though it looks like it should be. But that's a little annoying, but they're still able to get to the other side by swimming behind these little shops in a little like passageway, waterway or whatever to the other side. But I haven't actually seen a seal swim over there yet, so that's a little unfortunate, but nonetheless I still really like how this turned out. And I did use one blueprint, that in-game blueprint from Frontier, which I never do. I usually always build my own things, but I saw this, and it's just one of those, I forget what they're called. I forget what the pieces are called, but it looks like a little dock. It's from the aquatic pack, and I saw it, and it had some string lights on it, and I love string lights. I use them all the time in real life too. I just love string lights. I love the look of it, and I added some to these shops, and then this blueprint had some string lights around the edge, and I thought it looked really cute, so I really wanted to use it. And I did alter it a little bit to make it a bit smaller, but I thought it was just really cute and it would fit really well here as a little dock. And the seals, their traversable area says they can get onto it, but again, I haven't seen them get on it yet. Really, they don't even swim that much. I mean, they do swim, but usually they're all just on hanging out on the land, just doing their thing. And I wish they would use the habitat a little more for the ways I intended them to, but that's okay. Still, the seals are really, really cool animals. I love them. They're so funny. It's so amusing watching them flop around on land. They're so cute, and the babies are really cute too. The babies are actually born with this soft white fur, and they don't swim. And then after a month after they're born, they start to get their more waterproof coat, and that's when they start to swim and start to go out and learn things on their own. And they're really cute. And seals, they live in more cooler areas, and they live in North America, England. They have a pretty wide range of where they live, and they're listed as least concern, I believe. So they're not really endangered, but they do still face some challenges that a lot of animals do, like poaching and all of that. And their hands and feet are formed into web flippers, which they use their rear ones to propel themselves through the water, and then they use their tail to steer. So they're really good swimmers, and their shoulders are very powerful, which helps them climb onto steep and slippery rocks. So they're really agile in water, but they also can get around fine on land, even though they look a little funny when they're flopping around. So yeah, really neat animals that we got with the aquatic pack. I was super excited to get them when we got them because they're really cool animals, and it's really fun to watch them swim around and then walk around land and all. And then back to getting with this build, I pretty much said everything that I was meaning to say. Only other thing is I added a little seating area off to the left of the shops, and I added some red umbrellas again like I did with the okapis, because I really like to use red umbrellas like I mentioned before, because red and green are complementary colors, and since there's a lot of greenery around, the red really stands out and fits really well with the scenery. And I don't have much to say this episode actually. I think I've pretty much hit everything I've wanted to say. So next week, like I said earlier, will be an episode of Amani Zoo. And then one thing, the week after that, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get a video out then. So if I'm able to pre-record one a bit earlier and get it knocked out of the way, then you can expect a video a week after next week. But no promises, I might not be able to get it done. But there'll definitely be another video the week after that if I can't get one out. So yeah, that's all I have for this episode. If you would like to receive updates from me, feel free to follow me on Instagram, and like if you enjoyed the video, comment if you have any suggestions, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.
Vamos no